Hello and welcome to the recap of the Freestyle Chess tournament that is currently taking place in Germany. Freestyle Chess or Chess 960 or Fischer Random Chess is a very exciting kind of chess where the pieces in the starting position are arranged randomly. Mathematically, there could be 960 possible combinations in a chessboard, out of which one of the combination is the classical or standard chess opening, and the rest 959 are randomly arranged. Before each and every round, there is a lottery which decides which starting position the players will play in that particular round. So these are some rules of the freestyle chess, and now we will see the recap of the first semi-final that was played between five-time world champion Magnus Carlsen and his opponent Vincent Keymer from Germany. So let's jump onto the video without wasting any time. This is the opening position for this match. The position is a very interesting position because you can castle long side itself in the first move. So the catch of castling is that long side castles happens king coming to c1 and rook going to d1. And the short side castle is king going to g1 and the rook staying on f1. The match starts with g4. Magnus plays knight to g6. Vincent brings out his other knight. Magnus strikes in the center with e5. Then he goes f6, aiming to develop the bishop on the f7 diagonal. And now Vincent plays c4, covering the d5 square. And in the next move, Magnus castles long side, which is not the best move in the position because the king comes directly on the file of the rook. Vincent strikes in the center with d4. In this position, Magnus could have played d5, but after the knight jumps to the c5 square, the bishop can now go to the f5 square, and this will be a very ugly position for black. So instead, Magnus plays knight to b6. Vincent now captures the center and blocks Magnus's position. And now Magnus plays d6. Vincent straight away brings out his bishop, giving a check. Magnus blocks the check naturally with bringing out his bishop. f3 played by Vincent, aiming to bring out the bishop and also preparing for e4. Magnus plays a6. This position does not look that bad for Magnus because now he can bring out his bishop through the a7 square. But the engines somehow doesn't like the position. The next move is a very natural move for Vincent, that is e4. Magnus brings his knight in an outpost position. Bishop takes bishop, rook takes bishop, and now king to c2. A very brave move from Vincent because he does not want Magnus to create any counterplay by sacrificing the pieces in the center and bringing out his queen. Now Magnus develops his bishop and Vincent develops his bishop too in the d2 square, because if you would have developed in this square, then the knight could have fogged the queen and the bishop. And now a very useful move is played by Magnus Carlsen, that is king to b8, supporting the bishop. So there could be a discover attack on this diagonal. And Vincent straight away blocks this attack by bringing his bishop in the line. Magnus plays knight to h3. Now seems like there could be a repetition of moves, but Vincent, playing as white, does not want a draw. And now Magnus strikes on the other side of the board. Vincent straight away goes with c5 without bringing his king to b1 and opening the file of the rook. Takes, and now the bishops get exchanged. Vincent finally moves his king to safety in the b1 square. Queen h7, knight c5, a very natural move. And now the computer wants white to read out the knight through the f1 square, then here, and also there are ideas of a4 trying to block the knight from coming to the b5 square. But Vincent just wants to capture the knight, which is a very irritating piece for white. So the knight gets exchanged, and now Magnus could finally bring out his other knight. Again, Magnus's knight has got an outpost, and it is a very important piece. Vincent plays an outstanding move and the best move in this position, g5. The point is, if you capture, then Magnus now can sacrifice its rook and push the e-pawn, and this is a very good position for white because these pawns are passed pawns and there will be a lot of pressure on black to defend this. But Magnus doesn't capture, he instead doubles his rook on the d file. Now takes, and even in this position you could think that Vincent could give up on his rook, but now Magnus could create counterplay by bringing his rooks in the second rank. So Vincent Keymer just tried to trade away the rooks. And another very useful move in this position, and the best move in this position, is rook to f2, defending both the h2 pawn and the b2 pawn. And now after few moves, Vincent doubles up his rook on the f file, and Magnus now aims to bring up his knight in the f3 square, which is a very good square for black. Vincent now can straight away go rook to f7, to threat the queen and also the c pawn. But instead, he plays a retreating move, queen to c3. Magnus gets the chance to plant his knight in the f3 square. Vincent attacks the pawn, Magnus defends, and he doubles his rook on the second rank, protecting the ace pawn. And after a few moves, suddenly Magnus blunders in this position. He thought that the queen could come here and he could somehow defend this position, retreating back with his rook. He seemingly missed a brilliant move in this position. Queen to a3, trapping Magnus's rook. This rook doesn't look that it is trapped, but any move you play, you are simply losing. For example, if the rook goes here, then the knight can simply fork the queen and the rook. And if the queen tries to defend the rook, then rook cross knight, pawn cross rook, and you get a rook for free. Magnus looked distraught in this position and panicking, he played the move rook cross knight, pawn takes knight. And with just 31 seconds in his clock, Magnus panicked and he could not find any move in this position and played rook to c8 with only 1 second left in the clock, and then straight away resigned the game. Vincent Keymer, the German GM, who was also the second of Gukesh during the World Championship, has defeated five-time world champion Magnus Carlsen in the semi-finals of the freestyle chess. This was the first round of the semi-finals. He will face Magnus Carlsen again on the next round, and that will be a very feisty and epic battle because Magnus seemed very distraught with this loss. And being a champion player, we all know that Magnus Carlsen will surely bounce back and try to win this trophy too. So that's all for today. See you in the next video. Cheers.